And then another shift I saw, which just isn't going in a positive direction in terms of the foreign policy in that region, is a recent tweet I saw from the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. I'm going to read it to you guys. There's a part of it that's not problematic. I think there's another part of it that signals something really dangerous. So it's from the Senate Foreign Account. Ethiopia HRC, Human Rights Commission, findings link state security forces in the death of 14 elders in Oromia in December. The Oromo are among the communities that suffered from state-sponsored violence before and during the war. As the U.S. supports peace in Ethiopia, we must also pursue justice for atrocities. Okay, obviously part of that, nothing wrong with highlighting atrocities, but as we know, the U.S. doesn't do that for no reason, at least in terms of U.S. foreign policy. So now there seems to be a shift in terms of trying to appeal to Oromos. And I think anything that only appeals to one ethnicity or the other in that region signals to me the same tactic. They did it with Tigray. It didn't work. It actually really hurt the people. So now they're going to see if they can latch on to the tribalist element in the Oromo community and possibly OLA, which is where I get concerned about the aid that was going there. There's nothing wrong with the aid that U.S. aid just offered out. But you wonder, what are they going to do? We know that aid is used to fuel war. So I think that is something that's concerning and that needs to be watched. And then we also have to remember AGOA is still a thing. And it was because of human rights abuses that we were removed from AGOA, but there's no mention of human rights abuses by their old partners.
Yeah, Hermela, I mean, that tweet from the Senate Foreign Affairs, I know that tweet comes from the office of the Idaho Senator, James Rich. And, you know, it's been very bothersome, some of the rhetorics coming out of that office. And, you know, it's absolutely terrible that the 14 people died in Oromia. It's heartbreaking. It's always heartbreaking when we hear of death. You know, but what is really bothersome with the tweet is the selective outrage, right? Just a few days ago, there was reports of hundreds of Afar people dying, and then reports are still coming out of the thousands of Amharas that have been slaughtered, rape victims, children that were raped. Not a single word coming out of the Senate Foreign Office, not a single word of condemnation to the TPLF. And the region that they're commenting about in Oromia is where the other terrorist organization, OLA, operates. This organization has been massacring civilians, massacring ethnic minorities in the region, killing Amhara people, other ethnic people, not a single word. But what's curious now is the 14 people that were killed, the report said were killed by government forces. So they're condemning when something happens by the government, but when the OLA is literally burning down villages, burning down churches, killing civilians, entire villages have been killed, hundreds of people in a day, in Olega and other areas, not a word. And this is consistent with what they were doing in Tigray. This is consistent with what they're doing in Afar and Amhara. Anytime that the OLA or the TPLF are committing crimes, it is looked the other way. Anytime that the government is doing something, or the Amhara forces, the Afar forces, Fano, they defend themselves, it's like all hell breaks loose. It's you know, human rights violations, this and that. So, you know, we condemn human rights violations on all sides, everywhere, but people have the right to defend. But this is a really clear indication of where the policy stands and what kind of behavior they're trying to influence. Another interesting thing, and we know this for a fact, is we've seen it during colonial era. When the colonialists come to Africa, what they do is they pick one tribe and they play them against the other, right? And they've tried that in Ethiopia, to play our brothers and sisters in Tigray against Amhara, Amhara against Oromo, Oromo against Somali, Somali against Afar, right? This is typical divide and conquer rule. So, I mean, there was a large donation that was made, for example, last week, 10 billion birr, specifically to the Oromia region, right? And that's amazing. That's wonderful. That should be encouraged. But at the same time, AGOA was passed, Ethiopia being sanctioned out of millions of dollars. Tigray is devastated, Afar is devastated, Amhara is devastated. But you know, it's just really curious what they do to cause this friction within the Ethiopian people. So what I would like to say is that we have to keep our eyes open. We have to be conscious of things that are done, even when something seems like a kind gesture or like a charity. We have to look behind that. What is the intention? And absolutely at this point, we all, as Ethiopians, as a Horn of Africa, as Africans, have to be very, very cautious not to be divided alongside tribe or religion. Sectarianism is what is going to cause us further damage. So what I would like to say is